All right, all right, guys. I'm doing a live here, a live stream, and I have just woken up. I've just woken up, and I just decided to just put this on and see what the heck I could come out with. Let's talk about reality. Reality. There's a lot of people out there that don't have peace in themselves. What is peace? Does peace come from listening? That's an interesting one. It's like this. You need to have peace. You need to have peace inside yourself so that you can hear things. Yeah? So you can hear anything. You have to have peace. So that all of your five senses will be able to do their job properly. And your mind can create a picture. There needs to be space in your mind. When you got that stuff, that food for thought, it's going to start controlling the body better, in better health, you know. It will save you energy and time, and then you get better results quicker. If you're running into places trying to get results, there's an issue there already, see. Why you're not in peace right now and valuing the life as it is? What is the problem that you have to run and seek more for? Or less for? More than or less than? Just woken up, excuse me, I got a bit of a cough and a cold. But yeah, so you have to have peace first, right, inside. Before anything else. Excuse me. You have to have peace, okay? Before you can hear anything. Okay, understand it? Yeah? Alright now. But like when you start to hear the sound, let's say sound and peace. Let's just use that as an example, right? We're talking about within now, you know what I mean, by noise per se. So you need to have peace, quiet, peace, before you can, how can I say, realize what you are. That's crazy. You have to, of course, you have to have it to realize what it is. Otherwise, you don't know what it is. But it's like saying you won't notice what you have until you have it, right? But you ain't gonna have it. So it's like the having and the realizing are one thing you could say. That's you, the person, benefiting. You, the person, but from the essence. If I shut the head up, you'll have some more peace. You can watch something else, but whatever. But that's why people keep flicking because they can't find the peace. But anyway, so like okay, so like you've got to have inner peace before you can recognize noise. It's not even about inner or outer. It's always an inner experience from experiencing living in this external world. But like, it's just recognize peace by recognizing noise. But you have to recognize noise before you can recognize peace. And you have to have peace before you can recognize what is noise. You have to understand the understanding of what peace is. But obviously it means you have to have it first. Otherwise you ain't gonna know shit, man. You ain't gonna know nothing. There, bro. You gotta know something. So you gotta have the peace, then realize the peace, and then when the noise comes your way, you're gonna realize what it is. you're gonna know that it's something different from you. See, so you know what you have to know what you don't have. That's another thing, right? You have to. But the having also comes when you take on that. When you look at it outside and you take it on as part of you, stuff that's going on around you, noise, you take it in and say, oh, I've got stress now. That is part of you. You're telling yourself it's part of you. So let's just say then, without saying here and there, even though there is here and there, it's the connection with all of it, you know what I'm saying? So we're saying basically, you and the thing, all of it as one. When happening on this universe, in this world, when you see the peace, it's because it should be because you have noise and you recognize the difference. It's basically what we say is you recognize the difference. When you're peaceful, you recognize the noise. So you recognize the difference because you know it's something that this is not. Yeah. But here's the thing. How can you recognize something that's not still if all you know is what you have? I mean, there's a lot of cultures over the world that do not understand anything from another culture because they've not lived it. But they know it's different to theirs, but they don't know it per se. It's non-existent to them, see, the other culture. They know their culture. They know we recognize what's different. Look. It's almost like we can't understand anything. It's just like the only thing we understand is, oh, it's different to this is different to that. That's all we understand. Differences. Well, that's different to this, you know. And the second level or layer, which we don't even need to go into at all, it's a different thing. That is like when people start talking about competition, you know, start making a competition out of all this shit, as if, you know, things are different, and so we need to. Doesn't work like that. I mean, did yin and yang ever say that to each other in Mandarin Chinese? Yin and yang. Did yin and yang ever say that to each other? Yang never said, "Well, you know what? I better start doing things this way. I'm going to be a fucking loser of a yang." And the yin says, "I'm going to be. You know what I mean? I better start being this way." Do you know what I'm trying to say? Otherwise, I'm not. Well, I've got to start working harder. I've got to start competing and doing something, trying to prove something. He didn't say that at all. He didn't say that at all. Didn't do that at all. He didn't do shit, you know. That's what people do. Talk too much. So, you know what I'm saying? So, my point is, okay, is, sorry about the camera angle, by the way, but my point is, you know, how are you going to know the other side? How are you going to get to know the other side? So you've got to be on one side. Get this one. Oh, yeah. You've got to be on this side, yeah, in order to see the other side. But you've got to be on the other side to live it and know what it is. But to know it, you know, there's knowing it. There's knowing of its existence. I mean, there's also knowing and studying. That's the crazy thing. So can you know something without being in it? Obviously, we're going to say no, right? We're going to say no, yeah. Oh, yeah. But we're going to say no, right? You can't know it unless you're in it, walking in that, you know? Breathing it, eating it, you know? Living the existence, experience, you know? Tasting in the cooking, you know? But it's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah, cut. I talk this shit. I bust that slang. I come around here with one fucking hand. The other one's doing the business. Get with it. You don't know nothing. Ask your sister. Bop, bop. That's just a freestyle. So let's get back to the topic, right? So, hi, whoever's watching. So we're talking about this fascinating thing about reality. Like, you can only know that side by seeing it from this side as the opposite, to recognize. Like, can you recognize something without seeing the opposite? I don't think you can, man. Can you recognize something without seeing its opposite? That you recognize from what you have. So it's okay, it's like this then. We recognize from the having and not having, or from the existence and non-existence. Sounds crazy, right? It's like we got to be on this side to see what the other side is. You know what I'm saying? So you see what you have, and then you see what you don't have, because you know that that is not this, or this is not that. Or you recognize the difference. So the opposite side shows you what this is. But by seeing what it isn't, you see what it is. By seeing what you don't have, you see what you do have, etc., etc. But the thing is, the question is, if I'm not living on that side, if I'm not in that experience, am I really going to know it? The only thing I'm going to know is that it's different to this. So, you know that to understand this better. You understand this to understand, but it's like, do you? Could you live okay? Could you know yourself without knowing everything you're not? You know, and I think a lot of people struggle with that as well. I think we all do, really. Could we understand what we're not by seeing what everything else is? You say, well, if I'm here if I'm on the opposite side, I'm going to be able to see clearly. It's showing me, the other side is showing me, the outside world is showing me what I am and what I'm not, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you can see the differences. It's very clear. You have to see differences in life. If you're looking at a black and white picture, a painting, right? You know what I mean? You're going to see the differences in the colors, or the black and white, the dark and the light, and the big parts and the small parts, the shapes. There's always differences, to show what a picture is. The same with sound, like instruments in music, spaces between words, etc. when someone's speaking. So there's always opposites. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about yin and yang, okay, which is, in Chinese they say yin and yang. It's yin and yang, yin and yang, right? That's just what I believe in. I don't have a religion, but I believe in this thing, this Tao. It's like DAO, Tao, right? Sometimes they say Tao, I say Tao. And what it basically is, it's the philosophy that everything has two sides. And it does have two sides, up and down, front and back. And you say, okay, so what's your point? You just shut up and live. Okay. But the thing is, the point is, it does matter, because a lot of people don't know what they have and what they do have. But all I'm saying in this one here is, if you were in that situation, yeah, if you were walking amongst the sheep, so to speak, or the chickens, would you know you're a chicken, or if you're not? You know what I mean? It's like a sheepdog. How does he know he's different to the sheep? That's a silly question, I know. But I'm saying the rich and the poor, the good, the bad, you amongst the other people, your friends. It's like when do you see what you are or what you're not, or what you're becoming or what you're losing, when you're gaining something, where you're heading, where you're running from, how much of you there is left? And again, another thing, people always live in their memories of the past, worry and fear, ideas and illusions of success and failure, and where they think they're supposed to be heading. They're aiming for stuff in the future. So they're not living in this time, they're not living in this place, they're trying to be elsewhere. There you go. So it's like trying to be there rather than making the journey. You have to be here in order to get there, right? But you have to get there for this to have make any sense? I don't know. It's interesting anyway. But it's an interesting thought. So we started this talk here about peace, inner peace, right? We're talking about peace. Okay, inner peace. What is it? The inner peace, What is inner peace? I believe, or we could say that peace cannot be peace if peace is, let's say, I mean, it's always going to be in not defiance, what's the word? In total contrast to the opposite, which is noise. Peacefulness, as opposed to noisiness. But the thing is, I'm saying, how can a thing be as opposed to, I won't say not be, but as opposed, because it is anyway. But how can you be peaceful as opposed to trying to be peaceful, like trying to get rid of noise? Like, how do yin and yang exist without trying to fight each other? Probably because they don't kill each other. So therefore, they don't lose themselves, because you kill the other side, you lose yourself, you lose this side. You get rid of left, there's got to be a losing of right? Left and right, you can't have right without left. It doesn't make any sense. Big without small, etc., etc. You know, hot without cold, high without low. You can't have it. It doesn't make any sense. Differences always exist to balance, to give the other one meaning. But the thing is, it's all one Tao. It's all one reality. It's all one truth. As in one physical existing truth right here. That's what we're talking about. Now, they constantly energize and give each other existing possibility. I mean, the possibility to exist right now. The ability, sorry, not possibility, the ability. They are causing the existence of the other. That's what they're doing. They're causing one side coming into existence. So which side came first, the chicken or the egg? The yin or the yang? It doesn't work like that. I don't think it does work like that. Okay, well, how about that then? So ultimately, existence or non-existence, but then that's the talk of the ages. That's the talk of, all the astronomers and, scientists out there that are saying that, what came first? It's like they derive from each other from the beginning and end. They always have done. Meaning that's why it's an eternal flow. One side eternally had to exist in order for to give its creator the ability to eternally exist, for it to eternally exist. And you could turn around and say, all right, how am I going to bring something? You could say, for example, at the other side of the universe, you could say, how is one side going to bring about the other side? But the scientists have talked about this anyway. Nothing, giving birth to something. The religious people talk about this too, God and all this stuff. They talk about that. But this is the fact, see. So what I'm trying to say is you can't have something without the other side. They're literally two sides. You can't have left without right, up without down, big without small. You just can't have that, right? They're literally always there. How could I have up without down? Because it's going to be up. It's going to be moving up, above, higher than the thing below it, right? It's got to be. Otherwise, there's no low. It doesn't make any sense. High, by definition, is not low. Now get your ass out the drug, though, cuz. No, I'm just saying. Literally, right? So you ain't gonna get high unless you a low down motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's true. Why do people get high? There's obviously a problem. They're down low. They're on down low, acting damn low. Can't get it right now. But go ahead, bro. But no, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, though, it's like at any point one existed, it had to exist because of the other side. You couldn't have up first and then down. You say, well, yes, because the motion, how it rises, or how you step. No. That's steps. That's gradual process. We're saying right from the beginning, high, bam, it's right there, high. The eye, I don't care if it's 1 millimeter, one little, whatever the smallest fraction in the universe, we don't even know yet. We can't cut down to the smallest or the biggest. But the moment you have a difference, and that's what makes it, that's what makes the difference in the whole universe, on the smallest scale or the biggest, whatever which way. That's our perception of looking at things. We have a body, so we see things as big or small, hot or cold, we feel in the senses. But the truth is, the essence, if there is such a thing, and it's not just some weird illusion, dream thing, that there is a difference. Okay? That is the question. So there was high, there had to be low immediately. It seems to be this world with all of its differences and movements that we can, regardless of that we can see them or not, but we think we know. But there are flowers, trees, rocks, rivers, and there are differences, different animals, plants, etc., shaped clouds and coral under the sea. There are differences all around, but it seems to be that, is that an illusion? I don't know. It's like, it is all one, manifested. I'm not doing this, manifested. Seemingly manifested as reality by the way we see it. But now, how is it that we see, if we're just making it up in our mind, our senses, where are our senses coming up with that? It's to say, is anything in this real at all? You hear people talking about the universe, the world being like, or the universe being like a program, a matrix program. So none of it's real. Well, what about the programmers who created them? But like, you know what I'm saying? You got this internet. Or these codes like in the internet or the AI. I don't know. I mean, they say that AI is like ones and zeros, right? I was going to say, do they really exist? If the one can't exist without the zero, and the zero can't exist without the one, which is basically what we're talking about anyway, then they're one thing. There should be like a new symbol to that's what the yin yang symbol is, right? Yin yang. But it's a new, you know what I'm saying? So that, let me just the letter D for down. But like, I don't know, I'm just saying, right? Look, so like, let's say like, AI, which is just one thing created, a part of this whole universe now, but it's something we created. But let's just say, right, so you've got this one thing, okay? The existence, so you've got the internet, okay? And then you have the Tao itself, DAO, of yin and yang, which is yin and yang. And it's like, the underlying language of the internet being ones and zeros, right? Shows us all kinds of things on our screen. The same way that AI works, it's creating the language, whatever we're seeing visually or whatever, or hearing. But really, it's just made from an underlying code, a black box, if you like. It's hidden. We don't know, but it's very, very simple. It doesn't have a form. The mind of the AI or the internet and all that stuff, it doesn't have the making up of the energy of the whole universe. It doesn't have images. It doesn't really have a photo of a tree on the computer screen with music of a piano or a harp playing. It doesn't have that, and trumpets and drums. It doesn't have that. It's just literally more a unique single essence of creation. No. Either way, it's fascinating anyway. So let's get talking. So, language with no expression. Yeah, a language with no expression. Because the expression is something else. An idea, and then somehow intention comes about, and you start to take steps forward, and try to manipulate things with your hands and create things and destroy things. Why? Why should there be a second step, a step two? What is the first point? The first step is not a step, it's a point of existence, right? What starts things in motion? You could say, I guess, non-motion. But now it seems like we're getting philosophical, right? There must be non-movement, so we know that there is movement, you know. It's not about the knowing, I'll just say it. Now, the point, okay, being the one, just call it the one, okay, the one point. The central origin foundation point, total peace, right? Of power. That is not wasted or given to any, that is not giving itself up, like, you know, just limiting itself by just walking this path or doing this job for the rest of your life, whatever it is. You know, it's literally, you know, what I'm saying. Hold on. And so it's literally doing, okay, it's literally just a central point of peace in the universe, in anything, any existence, you know, it's just total peace. It's not saying these words or doing this action or making this or breaking that, trying to force things and change the world. No, it's just the central point of peace. It just, now, you say from that spawns everything. So you're a peaceful person, you are the center of the universe, let's say, and from that the universe comes out. Okay, so you start to create art and whatever you create and make chairs and tables and, you know, movies. Okay, and discussions. Okay, now here's the thing. Here's the thing, okay, so, and here's the thing. We say, how can you have that peace, right? By creating all that stuff, don't you lose it? Lose your central point of peace. You say, well, no, all that stuff that was already there. So it was already there. You know? Like, it had to have already been there, and eternally too, don't forget. There's not a limit on the time of it or anything. And eternally be there in all of its complexities and glories as we approach midday now, by the way. How you doing? In order for the point of peace to exist eternally. I don't know, motherfucker don't understand this shit what I'm saying, bro. I don't got no clue out here, man. I don't got no clue, no question, ain't got no quiz, motherfucker. That's all this shit. Y'all better call the skips. What am I talking about, though? Talk a lot of shit. Your mother dancing on the pole and she comes say hello. Just joking. Stopping the stream, yeah? Study both sides to understand the one. Study the one to understand both sides. Yeah, I didn't know, cuz. I'm talking about, cuz. Peace, y'all. Peace. Peace and blessings, my brethren. Yeah, man, I'm ramping and the fuck, man. I'm telling you right now. Yes, I tell them my wine and my body nice and sweet and crisp with a smile on the face. Yes, brethren. That's where we're still streaming. We're still streaming there more for when it's more. Okay, here we go.